like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears believe. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first
Who gives this woman to be married today?
Her mother and I.
We've been blessed with a beautiful day and a beautiful occasion. I want to share some words with this new couple today, and at the end of a few moments pronounce them into a new relationship. Together, we're really gathered here as family and as friends to join Gregory James Bergeron and Emily Mae Anderson into this marriage. In this country in which we're so blessed to live, we typically do this with what I refer to as a pre-ceremonial ritual. And I tend to call this a pre-ceremonial ritual because I think the real ritual, the real spirit ritual, begins to occur tomorrow and the next day and the next day as you begin to live your life together in a totally new way. These initial rituals are really more an opportunity for us as your family and friends to offer our support at times that you need us. But I'm also saying this on our behalf to stay out of your way when we need to stay out of your way. And that's very important to those of us who have parents, who have had parents, or who are parents. There are times in which our children need us, and there are times in which they need us to leave them alone. It's also an opportunity for you before family and friends and before God to state your love and your commitment to each other for life. And this is a wonderful storied memory, or stored memory. I tend to like the word storied because there's a story to your past, and there's a new story about to be created by your union today together. And you can latch on to that. Looking back at the photographs from today, looking back and thinking about in your mind the friends who are here, it's going to help you on that day that you wake up and you're mad at her. The day that you wake up and you wish he had put his pants in the hamper instead of on the floor. This is a day you can look back and you can remember the intensity, but also the love that is here, that is fresh, that is new today. C.S. Lewis is someone that I enjoy quoting from, and I've taken some words of C.S. Lewis and I've arranged them in a slightly new way, I think, to relate to what is going on here today. If the old fairy tale ending, and they lived happily ever after, is taken to mean that you'll feel for the next 50 years exactly as you felt before you were married, then it says something which probably never was, nor could ever be true. And actually it'd be undesirable if it were, for who could bear forever to live in the grand intensity and excitement that occurs when you're first dating someone? What would become of your work, your appetite, your sleep, your friendships? Everything would be consumed by those feelings and emotions of love. But ceasing to be in that fallen in love state need not mean that you cease to love. For in fact, the love that's going to grow along with your years together is a love that's very distinct from falling in love. It is much more powerful, it's much more foundational, and it creates more of an authentic joy than the simplistic happiness that comes from dating. It's a relationship also that is eternal, it's not temporal, such as some of the feelings and emotions that first occur in a relationship. It's a deep unity built upon not only attraction and romance, and those are important, keep those going, but it's also built on friendship, intimacy, and over a period of time, what I would call marital oneness. Marital oneness is when you have intimacy and friendship and romance and all of those things all wrapped up together at the appropriate levels that they should be as a relationship grows. It's a love that's maintained by your will, and I want to tell you that that means it's not effortless. It'll actually be consistent work to remain in a joyful marriage. It's work. It's also maintained by deliberate strengthening of habits. I say this, that as husband and wives, we have to practice to be the best husband and wife we can be. As you learn more about the other person, you learn to do things in another way for them. As you learn to do things for him, it becomes a part of your habit and your will until it becomes automatic. Those things are part of a long-term relationship and marriage. And finally, and most importantly, I think we've got to put this under a solidification by the grace which you both ask and receive from God. It's a God thing. A marriage that lasts is a God thing. In those days when things are negative, it's a God thing. It's a God thing on those days when things are great. This is key. You can have this love for others even at moments when maybe you don't like each other. A foundational love you can have even in those days. It's also one of those loves that you could easily, if you allowed yourself, to be in love with someone else, but you have chosen this person to be your mate for life, and you can stand upon that by the grace of God. Having those unloved feelings that you had and still have and will continue to have at some level is what first moved you to this commitment that you made today. We're going to live our lives together forever. But the quieter, more mature love, that is this foundational love that looks to God for answers and things, is what will keep the engine of your marriage running forever. Now here's the big question, because all of that sounded real nice, but how do you do that? How, in a very practical sense, do you keep this engine of love running for the next 60, 70, whatever there is for you, years? I've been married for 37 years. I usually say to the same woman. Some people can add two together, but I've been teaching marriage and the family for 15 years, and over those years I've looked at things that have made my life better in marriage and those things that have been appropriate for teaching to students who are considering marriage in the future. I'm listing 12 today. I could probably spend the rest of the afternoon, but I'm going to give you 12 I think are some of the most important things, most important pieces of advice that I will guarantee will help your marriage be stronger and more confident in the years that will come. Number one, talk to each other every day. That means the little things as well as the big things. Come home and share some things that are going on in your life. Talk about the big and the little. Number two,